Good everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we have a updated premium review on the He-112 B2U2. This is a very old marketplace premium that's been around for a very long time. And this vehicle not only received a upgrade to rank 2, but obviously it does have one advantage over the tech tree 112s in the German tree. And obviously the one in the Italian tree is pretty much this, but one slight change, which doesn't really affect it, but still. In the description below, there will be a couple of timestamps, as per usual with these, premium reviews. One of which will be the hangar section overview, where we'll go over the aircraft, pretty much its armament, its engine, stuff like that. And then obviously you can skip ahead to the gameplay, which unfortunately ends up being a defeat, because, well, this thing cannot beat a Firecrest. Simple fact, it has no chance. And yeah, that is pretty much that. So before we begin with the hangar section overview, I'm going to briefly go over the aircraft's price and obviously why it's so expensive. Because for those that don't know, this plane at the minute is around about 43 Gaijin coin, which is kind of steep, to say the least. This aircraft is really expensive. Now, obviously, the consideration for the review will be done based off of its price, not in the future. So if you're watching this in the future and it's like 2 Gaijin, which I doubt it, but you know, it could. Obviously, if that is the case, use the gameplay primarily to get an idea of what this aircraft can do. Because it can do quite a bit, but obviously the guns can be a little bit flaky, let's put it that way. But I'll get into that when I talk about the guns. The simple fact is, with the price being around 40 to 43 Gaijin coin, it is just not worth the investment. This aircraft is so overly priced because of Gaijin's necessity to remove free-to-play ways to actually get stuff. For those that don't know, in the old Warbond shop, there used to be a vehicle box that you could purchase. It was around about here-ish. Obviously before the talismans came in. And essentially, you would grind to shop rank 6, and you would get a vehicle box which had a random coupon for a select few vehicles in it. This 112 was one of them. And as you can imagine, when they removed it, coupons of this thing started to dry up, and on the marketplace now, it's very expensive. So, yeah, that's why it is so expensive. It's because Gaijin removed the way to get this for free. But I digress. So, it's time to get into the hangar section overview and take a look at this aircraft. So, because it's very similar to a normal 112, I'm going to try and keep this pretty brief, because obviously this opening part was a bit longer than expected, but that's just how it is. Because obviously this aircraft is way overly priced because of Gaijin's necessity for greed. So the one major difference between this B2U2 and the B0/B1U2 is the engine. As you'll see, the Tech Tree 1 and the B1U2, which I'll just pull that one up as well, they have very similar engines. Now obviously the C and the E are pretty much identical. There's like 1 or 2 minor changes, but I don't know exactly what. But you can see these planes are very similar in their performance characteristics. But then we look at the B2U2, which has the G engine. So this has an extra 30 or about 30 horsepower, give or take. And it is kind of noticeable, because obviously it is quite a light airframe, but it's not enough to the point where you're going to be beating meta planes at this sort of BR. It's a good enough plane to match most of the competition, but it's not going to be beating things like, as you'll see in the gameplay, Firecrest. It's not going to beat P-36s quite comfortably. But, you know, it's one of those things where you just have to consider that it does have a slight power advantage over the 112s, and this thing sometimes does fight 112s in both the Japanese and the Italian tech tree, obviously the premium ones. So there is something to consider in that regard. Coming over to the armament, we do have 2 20mm MGFF cannons. Of course, I've covered 112s before. Nothing really to write home about. These guns are very inconsistent, to say the least. They can do either a shitload of damage, or they just spark and you just cry inside, because that's pretty much what these are. Unfortunately, until Gaijin actually fixes the guns, because these guns do need a fix, Yeah, it's safe to say these guns aren't going to be the most consistent. Coming over to the machine guns, this should be pretty familiar for you low-tier German players already. Twin 7.92 MG17 machine guns. Consistent, good damage, decent ammo count. What more can you really ask for? That's all I'll say. And of course, in terms of armor protection, this thing has none. You should be also used to that by now, because the 112's never had really any armor, to be honest. In terms of belts, and well, as you can see, it doesn't carry any bombs, so I'm not going to talk about that. In terms of belts, if you are down with these guns, I would recommend stealth. These seem to be the most consistent, and they're also the best in ground attack. Now, in the gameplay, unfortunately, I can't use these to kill medium tanks because these can only kill light tanks and light pillboxes. As a result, I can't even try and bleed the tickets to win against the two Firecrests that I run into. But, you know, it's one of those things, really. And then, of course, we do have the 7.92. I would recommend the Universal Belt. If you're not down with the aiming on these yet and you want a little bit more consistency with aiming, you can use the APT round. As for the 20mm, the best belt to use if you're not good with stealth is probably the Universal Belt. I'm not recommending the Air Targets belt because this Air Targets belt is extremely sparky. If you think the Uni is sparky, try this belt. It's really sparky. But obviously the Stealth belt does have its fair share of sparks, so that is something to consider. But otherwise, I would not buy this plane at this moment in time. It's sad to say because I do have a slight soft spot for the 112s because these were the first planes that really got me into Air RB because it was one of the first planes I was told to try and I liked it, obviously back then. Nowadays, I'm still on the fence about it because of the guns, because of the meta changes to the sort of BR area. This plane just doesn't have the performance to keep up with much anymore. It can still dominate some of the other planes in the BR, but the point is that against something like a P-39, a Firecrest, a Yak-1B, this thing has no chance, and that's just sadly the way it goes. But anyway, I'm going to hand you over to the gameplay now. I really hope you enjoyed seeing the He-112B2U2 receive its updated premium review, and I will see you all on the next one. Well, I feel sorry for you, Mr. Stuka. You're not having a good day. I mean, you got your bombs out, but, well, yeah, that's a horrible way to go, not gonna lie. Oh well, sacrifices have to be made. Those Firecrests are currently causing my team a massive issue. And the problem is that the Firecrest kind of kicks my ass in a lot of areas. Climb rate, you know, it's like speeds. Firecrest has better guns for long-range combat as well. So yeah, not looking forward to dealing with those two. But for now, I'll move down and deal with this Buffalo and or this P400. But it looks like it's just me and the He-100 who is currently dealing with the Firecrests. And it's just me and him in terms of fighters, because the rest of the team are all bombers. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if this old timer's still got a chance of winning. Oh, it's Thatcher's. Thank you. So you have to be, like, you have to pretty much be a precision shot with these cannons in order to make them work. And even then, the APHE can still spark. Hello, Mr. P400. I can kill you with just the machine guns, so I'm going to try and do that. There we go. I'm going to need the cannon for that Avenger. That's why I'm saving my cannon ammo. And maybe the bots as well, because we'll need to deal with those in due course. Hopefully my teammate can deal with the Firecrest, because I can't really catch them. I can deal with the Avenger, but I can't deal with the Firecrest. They just outrun my ass. There goes the last bomber, so it's just me and the 100 left. Looks like he's been pretty messed up by flak, which is going to be helpful for me. quite a chunky girl, but luckily I know where to shoot an Avenger. But he's also a pretty good shot with that 50 cal. That hurt pretty good, but that will not go out. Just worried about where those Firecrests have gone. He hit us pretty good. He's a good shot with that 50, I'll give him that. But yeah, this is not looking good, because now we've got 2 Firecrests, which we know are in fighter mode. And I can't kill the medium tanks, because this thing can only kill light tanks with its guns. So I think, for now, I will focus on killing bots. I just don't want to get double-teamed by a pair of Firecrests whilst my teammate's far away. That'd be the least... well, that'd be the last thing I want. Boom, scratch one bot. If I take out the bots, we take out the ticket bleed advantage. But obviously I've got to be careful. Got to keep my situational awareness up, which you have to do in this plane anyway, because you're never going to catch half the stuff that you run into. Got its gunner, which is good. I can come in behind it now. There goes that one. There goes that one. It looks like he's chasing one of the Firecrest, but that means that we don't have a second pair of eyes. I just don't think we're winning this match, unfortunately. But that's me thinking. We could still win this, but I need to go back for a repair. Come here, Mr. SPD. Well, I say Mr., you're a bot. Nice. And the 100 just died. Great. Really fucking great. That means it's down to me to kill 2 Firecrests. This will definitely put the 112 for its paces, I can tell you that much. So there goes the last of the bots. Let's RTB. And hopefully we can get to the airfield without much issue. But given how he's coming straight for us, I don't think that's going to happen. I would ask them in chat if they want me to, like, if they wouldn't mind me getting repair and stuff. But let's try that. I'll ask him, because I don't want to seem like I'm runway camping. Because that's not the intention. I'll see if they're letting me. It looks like they're letting me, so that's good. So, I'm going to cut to when I don't have damage and I actually have some bullets. And, yep, they're allowing it, so I'll cut to whenever we get back into the conflict with them. And fingers crossed, we can maybe win this. Well, welcome back. As you can see, I've got myself a repair, I've got some more bullets, and hopefully we can try and win this, but considering one of the little shits is in the clouds there, and the other one I've marked using an Avenger order, yeah, this isn't looking good for me. This guy up here is the more experienced out of the two, looking at the player cards and stuff, because this guy's fairly new. So I'm hoping that I can at least try and either damage or cripple the experienced pilot, and then I can take the inexperienced pilot fairly well. And yeah, there he is, he's using the clouds, which is going to be a problem for me. And obviously now his buddy's spotting me, so I've just got to hope. And yep, there's the blind hunt. So now they know exactly where I am. We were just having a bit of banter in chat. we was just talking. I asked him, I said to him, didn't want you guys to think I was camping or anything. And then obviously I activate the Avenger order and went from there, really. So we do have a couple of advantages over the Firecrest. One of them not being speed. They will catch us easily. Obviously the experienced player is the one I want to nail first, but if I can nail his crony, that'll just even the odds. And hopefully we can go from there. But I'd have to time it to the point where I can kill his buddy safely. So let's do it. Here we go. Come on, 112. Let's do this. Got some hits. Let's see if he's smart enough to not turn. He is not smart enough to not turn, but his buddy's coming in at a high rate of speed. Oh, that one hurt. He's a good shot. That's why I wanted him dead first. But now, my turn rate is gone. So hopefully, I can try and pitch it around, but it ain't happening. Looks like he's told his buddy via voice communication on what to do. Because they're playing it very well. I'll give them that. I can't dodge this, unfortunately. Yep, there we go. GG's, well flown. They knew how to fly it. His buddy's trying to steal his kill, which I think is kind of sad, but other than that, the old 112 definitely put up a fight. And he even binned it. That would have been the inexperience showing there, but there you go. That was actually quite fun. I enjoyed that. I wasn't going to win that fight, but well, I'm not one to go down without a fight, at least, if I can at least stand a chance. But there you go. That is exactly what the old 112 can do. It's definitely a plane that is struggling at the moment, and with its price consideration, it's not worth it. But if you want to just have a little bit of fun, my personal advice would be to just fly the 112 B0 in the German tree, or just get either the A7HE1 or the B1U2 in the Italian tree. That's personally what I would do, because that would not only be more consistent, but also a heck of a lot cheaper.